Hello, people! Thanks for joining me. I'm Scott, and this is a Gibson EB-2 bass from 1968, Kalamazoo. I grew up in Michigan, and the whole time I never knew that Gibsons were made in Kalamazoo. I don't know. But anyways, man, this guitar was in pretty bad shape. It was like a wounded soldier. It came in with all of its guts hanging out of its F-hole. I don't know if you've ever had your guts hanging out your F-hole, but it ain't fun. And it's gonna need the neck refinished. We'll zoom in here and show you. It appears like someone wiped it with oil, because everywhere there's like a cold checking line, it looks like it's been penetrated with some kind of dark stuff. And I think you can see it better here on the back. It has some wild figure checking lines going on. I mean, it's all over the place. But see this kind of dark vein that's running through this way? And there's a film all over this. Yeah, I don't know if they were trying to help this finish along by putting oil on it or what. But there's no salvaging all that stuff. For me, I'm just going to strip it right off of there. I'm taking my caliper and I'm measuring this thickness of this finish here. It's a 25 thousandths of an inch thick, which is over half a millimeter. Now, it could be lifting a little too in areas, but 20 thousandths of an inch, wow. We got to get this stuff off of here. Look how bad it is. So this wood veneer is lifting in areas, and it was split right here. I kind of just tacked that together with some liquid hide glue just to get it back into one piece. I should be able to glue that back down and work with that. Luckily, all four of the bushings are here. This one's a little rusty. I can take care of that. I can add the color back in where the lacquer is missing here. And the Gibson's looking really good. So that is awesome. Yeah, this is one of those preservation jobs. And then the back side is definitely a restoration job. Oh, and the truss rod rescue service, that half moon washer has to be dug out of there. So I don't know if it might be easier to take the tuners off, remove the entire veneer, or maybe just lift it up a little bit to get at that washer area. But I'm going to pull the nut. I'm going to glue a little piece of that headstock veneer back together so it doesn't split any worse. Any worse than it was. Then I'm going to try to dig out this half moon washer. It's severely damaged, bent from people over tightening the truss rod without straightening the neck first. You got to help these old bass necks out by straightening the neck first. Anyways, I'll pull this thing out of here. You can see how cupped it is. And then I'll bore out that compressed wood out from around the 1032 truss rod. This is available from the Stu Mac Truss Rod Rescue for Gibsons. The threaded truss rod has 32 thread purge. Clean out some of this wood and then they supply you with a 1/4 inch thick round washer, because there's a lot of space to make up for. This is the die that comes with it. These babies are expensive. They're over $100 each. Die is bankrupt you, but That'll pay for itself after 1 or 2 truss rod rescues. I'm using some brown lithium grease around the new truss rod washer and brass nut. The old nut was very convex on the bottom side and had to be thrown out. But now that the threads are all cleaned up, and get this new nut on there and tighten it, see if the neck straightens, which it did not. It's going to need some help. So we're going to warm it up with the heat lamp. It's a 250 watt heat lamp. I keep it at about 10 inches from the rosewood. After about a half hour, I put some spacers in and clamp it down at the 7th fret. See if I can get that truss rod to tighten up now. And it took 3 heat presses on this one. That's how stubborn it was. Now I'm going to use some liquid fish glue to adhere the veneer back down to the headstock. Then I'll use some clamping cauls and some bar clamps to clamp it down overnight. But in the meantime, we'll clamp the neck again, heat it and clamp it. Come back the next day and heat it again. At the same time, I'm working on an old hummingbird from the 70s. This was that one with the non-tapered dovetail. Fun times. Gotta be patient with these old Gibsons. Okay, this is at the very end of the 2nd day of French polishing. I use pumice and a pumice pad. It's just the same pad, but it's just a pumice pad. I throw it away after I'm done. And I fill in all the little pits and things and cracks with the pumice and alcohol mix. And I let it sit overnight. And then tomorrow, we'll sand it smooth. We'll continue French polishing. Next day, morning time here. Just want to pick up where I left off yesterday. With the Scotch-Brite Maroon, I'll knock off any of the high spots, if there really aren't any, but also just level the pumice and just continue right back on with the French polishing. I find French polishing pretty relaxing, and most recently I found that it works really good to prepare a guitar surface for maybe like a 1 day of lacquer spraying right at the end of it. Just have to be careful with how you apply it, what type of oil you use. I'm using mineral oil for this one, and there's a technique that I use to get that oil up and out of the shellac before I go ahead and spray those lacquer coats. Now we've taken operations down to the garage where we're going to make a big mess. I didn't hold a thermometer up to it to see what temperature I got this lacquer up to, but I'd say that it was good over 200 degrees because I did this for about 30 minutes, and when I was finished, the front of the fretboard and the frets were actually too hot to touch. Next, there's a big surprise under this serial number up at the top of the headstock there. You see this serial number. Well, after this lacquer comes up, it was revealed that there were 2 serial numbers. The original coat of lacquer had one, and then when they sprayed the second coat, they gave it a different serial number. The same serial number that's on the tag in the body. So after both layers came up, you could see the little stamp impressions telegraphed through. Bizarre. Okay, so check it out, guys. At this point, I've realized this neck has been oversprayed. You can see the original layer, and then on top of that, this thicker layer. And boy, is it thick. I'm gonna measure it later on, but I peeled off this one piece. It looks just like a fruit roll-up. Cherry flavor. That's some thick stuff there. Anyways, just want to show you that. It's been refinished before. Now I kind of got a taste for fruit roll-ups after talking about it. All I got here is these cherry flavored lifesavers. I think this will do to help me sustain myself while I finish this off. Okay, it's all stripped off nicely. Got that horrible discoloration all the way down. Actually, it's not too discolored around here or here. Not too bad, but right in the middle, really bad. But there's something really bad I want to show you, is this ledge. You can hear that step that happens here, and it's 25 thousandths of an inch thick, this finish. It's that's 0.7 millimeters thick, and I don't want that ledge to telegraph through my final finish, so I'm going to fill in this area with some filler, clear filler, and sand it smooth so that it makes more of a transition, a nicer transition, and when I run my finger over it, it doesn't feel like this. I'm going to use Glue Boost. Now that I've got this filled in roughly, I haven't sanded it smooth or anything, of course. It's still bumpy, but it's, you know, we're getting to second, third base on that side. Now I flip. I gotta find a way to hold the guitar kind of in a level position like this. So I think I'll put it in the total vise and just clamp it real hard. That should work. It's not too far away from my exhaust fan. I got a Glue Boost accelerator stuff that I like to have it exhumed from the area. So I'm going to work on this here. What happened here? Okay, so there was a lot of discoloration and like a big gap in the joint area. So I took red powder, Blendall, with about, well, it was a mix of half and half, burnt umber, powdered stain, and just mixed it together and pushed it in there. Now I'm gonna drop in the Glue Boost in now. Cool. This is the first time I've ever tried this. Actually, whoop! My Glue Boost hardened in the cup. Okay, let's get a new cup. You know, once that accelerator gets into the atmosphere, it really makes its way around. Alright, this looks way cleaner than before. This transition. And I don't think that this... Damn it, I'm flicking it. I don't think this transition is as massive look of a transition as on the other end of the heel. God, I just flicked it right there. I wonder if I can wipe that up. Probably get fuzz on it if I wipe it with this. Nope, that was okay. So, it's been 3 days since I stripped the neck lacquer, and I did another heat press or heat set of the neck. That's where I put the heat lamp about 9-10 inches above the fretboard and let it warm up for a half hour. Then I clamp it in the middle, right here at the 6th, 7th fret. 3 days later, I make sure that truss rod nut is tight, and then I release the pressure on it and see how straight the neck is. Okay. How straight did we get her? Did we get a back bow? Yeah, we got a back bow now. Remember before we had a huge up bow. So, I can probably loosen this a little bit, and then we'll straighten the neck in the process. We'll mask off the body. We'll mask off the fretboard and the fretboard edges, and we'll spray an opaque cherry red. We'll have a mixture of Mixol red, which is pigment, and cherry red, and Bordeaux, which are two different dyes or stains, and we'll mix the three of those together with lacquer, and we'll shoot it with an airbrush, and we'll start getting a good color on the back of this thing. But first, let's loosen that. Yeah, we don't need any kind of wild back bow in the neck right now at this time. We're just, over the course of 2 times heat setting it, we're starting to coerce it into a straight position, which it hasn't been in for many, many years. I could even press it a 3rd time, or heat set it, as some say. Whoops, I tightened. Okay, I'll loosen. Little loosen here, and check it again till it's fairly straight, and then we'll start painting. I'll end up back bowing it again before the strings go on. There's a hump in there somewhere. All right, we're gonna take it down and start spraying it. Next week we'll peel off the tape, and we're gonna start putting clear finishes on it and finish up the headstock and do the electronics, and put the strings on it, and all that next week. But at this time, we're already about 20 minutes in, and I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing. Hit the About button on my YouTube channel. Go get you a t-shirt with that nice Harpeth guitar logo. Designed by Brian Hanlon, OG Media. You'll see a t-shirt, coffee mug, hoodie, women's, men's, all that stuff available. You can support the channel and get you something just before Christmas. After that first opaque coat, I peel off the tape that was masking the edge of the fretboard, and I continue spraying translucent Bordeaux red, which is a blue red, till I get the right color. Catch you later!